Right. So we are up and running. The recording is also happening. So let me give you a little bit of background of what is Power BI, what all can it do, how long has it been there, which are the competitors in the market, and to what level should you learn it. So if you're in finance, marketing, sales, operations, how you use Power BI and the extent to which you use Power BI will also differ, right? So this is a presentation. I can also send you the presentation later. I don't mind.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, but we have one Mac user. So if you can explain like how to use it, it will be good.
Sure, sure. All right. So Power BI is Power Business Intelligence. It was launched 5 years back. Even though Microsoft has been working on this for many more years, it finally got released in public use in 2015 in the month of August. So it's been a little more than 5 years now. And in a little more than 5 years, they have 150,000 companies that are using it around the world. And 97% of the 500 largest companies in the United States are using Power BI, which just goes to show you how quickly people have adopted Power BI as a part of their entire analytics use. Um, Power BI is a bit of everything. You know, it's a data visualization tool, it's a data cleaning tool, it's also an analytics tool. That is why they call it business intelligence. They don't call it data visualization. It's not just a data visualization tool, it can do much more than that. And it's a unified platform. That means it works on different systems. It works on iPad, on the phone, on the laptop, on the server, on the cloud. It does not work on the Mac natively, but you can work on it on the cloud directly. It's also scalable. That means that you need not be a large organization to use Power BI. You can just be a 5 member startup and you can work with Power BI. And as your team grows, you can also scale it up. That's the best part about Power BI. It has been created for both types of users. It is simple enough to be used by small teams. And when the organization grows larger, if it's an enterprise with 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 employees, Power BI has the ability to scale up as well. And of course, the idea is to gain deeper insight. So it's not just a data visualization tool. The idea is not just to make a chart. The idea is to be able to also generate insights from the data. Is it the only tool in the market? No. There are a lot of competitors. So Gartner comes up with a report every year in the month of February, which they call the Gartner Magic Quadrant. They have been coming up with this for over a decade now. And in the area of business intelligence, you notice that there are many players in the market. So it's not like Excel where there is very little competition, almost next to nothing. I know Google Sheets is a sort of a competitor, but how many companies use Google Sheets, right? So we have Power BI, which is Microsoft. Then we have Tableau, which I'm sure all of you have heard of. We have Click, ThoughtSpot, Sysys, Google, Salesforce, SAS, SAP, IBM. So a lot of players are there in the market, right? So and more players are emerging. So the point is that this is not an area where, like when we say graphics card, we only have NVIDIA and AMD. When we say operating system, we only have Windows, Linux, and Mac. So it's not like that. There are only a few players. There are many players in the market. It's perfect competition. Anybody can enter the market, right? But needless to say, Power BI and Tableau are two of the biggest ones. The pricing and all we're not really concerned about, but it works on both service, which is directly on the cloud. It works on desktop, which is what you guys have installed on your computer, and it also works on mobile. Um, so Power BI has some inbuilt charts like we have on Excel. So as you can see, there are these charts that are available. See these visualizations rather. But you also have a store, right? And from the store, you can download more than 200 extra visualizations. So that's the best part. You have a list of visualizations that are already inside the tool, and you can even download more of them. Most of them are free, some of them are paid as well, but most of them are free. Power BI is not just aimed at creating a visualization, it can also clean your data. So it has something called Power Query, which we'll not do today, we'll do it tomorrow. So Power Query is an ETL tool, extract, transform and load, which allows you to prepare your data, transform and prepare your data. Then we also have something called DAX, which is used for calculations in Power BI. We will again not do this today. We will do it tomorrow and the last day. DAX is used for creating calculations inside Power BI, right? You can obviously create models in Power BI. You have a lot of AI powered analytics, something I'll be covering today. And then you can also connect Power BI to external tools. This is not of importance to us because we don't need to work on all this. Only IT guys need to work on all this at a very advanced level. But it's good to know, at least if tomorrow somebody asks you, can I connect Power BI to other tools? Yes, you can, right? That is the answer that I would expect from all of you. It obviously can connect to Excel very well. And going forward, the connectivity between Excel and Power BI will get even stronger. Like for example, today I can create a Power BI report and I can directly make a pivot table from that report on Excel. These are very new features, so most of you might not have it, but in the next 6 months, 12 months, these features will get released. Power BI also works on Microsoft Teams. Like we are working on Zoom and we have Google Meet and Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams has Power BI inside it. So you can actually make a Power BI report and present it directly within Microsoft Teams. The big question, what is the difference between Power BI and Tableau? See, at the end of the day, it's a commodity. So they are essentially the same tool. Most of the basic features are exactly the same. The differences are Power BI is simple to learn. It is good with large data sets, but it is not meant for super large data set. Even though it can handle it, the licensing is very rigid. So you don't got to get a lot of options with Power BI. You can download more visuals and it's very cheap. Tableau, on the other hand, is very difficult to learn. It's not a simple tool. Tableau can work with extremely large datasets, like Netflix uses Tableau. Tableau has a lot of flexible licensing plans, so there are a lot of variety that is there because Tableau has been around for 18 years. But Tableau is more difficult because you have to learn it, which takes a lot of time. You cannot create you have to create your own visuals. You can't download them from the internet, and the cost is also high. So usually the sort of client that takes Tableau is somebody who has already been working with Tableau earlier because they don't have to train people how to use it. For organizations that have just started to work with data visualization, something better than Excel, Power BI is what they choose because it's a little easier, it's much cheaper. Tableau, on the other hand, will be more complicated to use and also be more costly, right? But yes, it's not that a company only uses one of them. In fact, most of the large companies use both of them. In fact, they have many tools that they work on. So the companies that I work with, Allianz, DCM Shriram, Sterlite Power, Vedanta, PwC, EY, DE Shaw, they don't work with either Power BI or Tableau. They work with both of them, of course, in different proportions, right? Any questions so far, anyone?
No, sir.
Right, all good, great. Let's open Power BI, please. The one Mac user who's there, just be patient for maybe 5 minutes. Let me explain to everybody how we work with Power BI desktop. Then I will tell you how you can work directly on the cloud, right? You can't download and install Power BI because it's not available for the Mac, it's only available for Windows. All right. I hope all of you have already downloaded it, and this is the screen that you would see, right? What I want you to do, the first thing is to sign in. Everyone, please sign in. And you cannot use your Gmail account. You will have to use your college account because Power BI does not accept personal accounts. You can only use organizational accounts here, right? So I'm also going to use my organization account here, which is right. And if you obviously, most of you will not have an account, just click on the sign up button. And once you have signed in, it should look like this. Can somebody share the screen so that I can help everybody do this at the same time? Anyone, if you can share the screen, I just enable. Yeah, I've done that. Great. So Ayush, you have already signed in. Okay. I hope the others have signed in as well. If Okay, Ayush, I actually wanted to see somebody who hasn't signed in. So is there anybody who hasn't signed in or hasn't been able to sign in? Right? Remember, Yahoo, Hotmail, Gmail will not work. You will have to use the organization account. For you, the organization account will only be the college account. So that's what you can use. Right? Okay. The first thing that I want to do, I don't want to explain the interface, right? That's not the right approach. Because if I start explaining the interface, we will spend 1 hour only looking at the interface, right? What we will do is we will connect to our data, start creating charts, and as in how we keep on learning more topics, you will learn different parts of the interface also, right? There is a lot that is happening here. It's very different to Excel and PowerPoint, right? So if you feel that, oh my God, it's so different, it is very different. Is it similar to Excel and PowerPoint? Not at all. In fact, there is very little similarity between Excel, PowerPoint, and Power BI. Think of this as a new application that you have to learn. Don't try to relate it to Excel and PowerPoint, right? Okay. Before we start to connect the file, the first thing is I want you to make some changes to the settings. So click on File. Everyone, click on File and go to Options and Settings. Click on File, select Options and Settings, and select Options once again. In this, you will have preview features, and I want you to select all of them. These would not be selected, but I want you to select every single one and press OK. One by one, you will have to select all of them. Please select all of them and press OK. Right. Now remember, once you have selected all the preview features, you will have to restart Power BI, not your computer, but you will have to restart Power BI. So please close the window and open it once again. I don't need to do it because my preview features were already selected, but I would request you to please close Power BI and open it once again so that all the preview features will get enabled. Right? Excellent. Now we will connect to our Excel file and we will start to make visualizations. But before we do that, I want to explain what all is there in the Excel file. Right? It doesn't make sense to. I've already sent this file to you, right, on the email, the Global Superstore.
Yes, sir, you sent the file.
Yeah, I've already sent it. Okay, great. Just confirming. Right. So you don't need to open it. I just want to take a few minutes and just give me a second. Yeah, I just want to take a few minutes and walk you through this file to tell you what all is there in this file. Right. So we have about 50,000 records, 51291 records. We have 24 columns, and the data is a system dump. This has come directly from Salesforce. And this is the transaction for a company for the last 4 years, right? So we have the transactions for 2012, 13, 14, and 15. What all do we have? Let's go one by one, okay? We have the row ID, we have the order ID, then we have the order date and the shipping date. How many ways is the company shipping the product? Like in Amazon, we have a 1 day, 2 day shipping. Here we have 4 types of shipping. First class, same day. Second class and standard class. After that, we have the customer ID and the customer name. Now, obviously, there are hundreds of customers. So as you can see here, we have a few hundred customers. Okay, let's go forward. In segment, we have three segments in the business. We have B2C, B2B, and B2 home office, small businesses. So we have consumer segment, corporate segment, and the home office segment. Then from column I till column N is the geography. We have, go backwards. We have the market, we have the region, we have the country, we have the state, we have the city, we have the postal code. In some cases, the postal code is not there, but that's okay. So how many markets do we have? We have 5 markets: Africa, Asia Pacific, Europe, Latin America, and United States, Canada. So we have Africa, APAC, Europe, LATAM, and USA. So if I select, let's say, Asia Pacific, then it only shows me the region within Asia Pacific. So we have Central, Eastern, Oceania, Southeast Asia, Southern Asia, Western Asia. If we select South Asia, we will have Afghanistan, India, Bangladesh, like this. So if I select India, it will show me different states in India. So let's say I select Delhi. In fact, let me select something else. Let me select UP. In UP, it will show me different cities in UP like this. And if I select, let's say Agra, it will show me that there are 29 transactions in Agra, right? So this is how the data has been laid out. We have the market, region, country, state, city. After that, we have the product details, right? So from O to R, we have the product ID, the category, subcategory, and the product name. Let's take an example. What is the product? I'm sorry. What is the product name? It's the Samsung Convoy 3. What type of subcategory is it? It is a phone. And phones is what type of category? It is a technology. Novimix armchair is a chair, and the chair is a type of furniture. Similarly, collection library is a bookcase, which is a type of furniture. Newell 330 is a type of art, which is an office supply. So now you can understand what the business is selling. The business is selling to both the home office, corporate segment, and the consumer segment. And it is selling 3 types of things: furniture, office supplies, and technology, right? So it's like staples, right? So we are selling furniture, tables, chairs, office supplies, art, paper, stationery items, and we have technology, which is copier, printer, phones. And then in these 3 categories, how many subcategories are there? There are 17 subcategories. So we have accessories, appliance, art, binder, bookcases, chairs, copier, envelope, fasteners, furnishing, label machine, paper, phones, storage supplies, and tables. And finally, we have sales quantity, discount, and profit, right? So that is the data we have, everyone. We have a company that is selling different categories, 3 categories in 3 segments around the world in 165 countries. We have the data for the market, region, country, state, city. And we have the sales quantity, discount, and profit. Any questions on the data, anyone? Great. Because see, we will be spending a lot of time on this data. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask. And if all of you can give me a minute, I will just bring it back and we call it global. In fact, let me download the one that I sent you so that there is no difference in the files that we have. 1 second. So Analytica, global, perfect. Let me go to my download folder and quickly download this. What is this? Okay, I don't know what that is. It doesn't matter. Let's select this. Right? Yeah. Any questions on the data? Anyone? So tell me, what type of analysis can you do with this data? Now that you have seen the data, what would be the type of analysis you can do with it?
We can see the country-wise sales or like
Okay.
the product
What else?
differentiation, profit country-wise,
Okay. And
Region-wise profit.
Okay, what else?
Shipping modes.
Yeah, now you're just telling me column by column. Tell me what are the different types of analysis you can do. See, we can identify country, region, country, segment wise profit and sales. We can identify profit margin since we have profit and sales. I can look at the top selling product. I can identify
Top.
my top 5 customers. I can make a
Top.
trend line to look at seasonality to see in which quarter my sales are high, in which month my sales are high, right? Can we do all of this using a pivot table? Of course, why not? A pivot
Yes.
table is a very powerful tool, right? So it's not that we can't do it. Before Power BI was there, were people not using pivot tables? Absolutely. But then the problem is that even for the simplest of things, I will have to make a pivot, put it in filter, do a calculation, right? So this is why we need Power BI. Let's now come to Power BI, everyone. Please click on import data from Excel. Everyone, please select import data from Excel and select the Excel file. Global Superstore orders 2016. And once you have this, select table 1. Right? That's the table in which all the data is there. So you select the table and click on load. Right? So far, what have we done? We have simply connected Power BI to an Excel file, and you will see a list of all the columns on the right side. Everyone, on the right side, you will see a list of all the columns. I asked you a question, right? What is the market-wise profit? Let's see how easy it is to do it on Power BI. Please select this option, this one called the Q&A. The Mac user, I'll just come back to you in a bit. Please select the Q&A, everyone. In fact, you know what? I know we have to spend an extra 2 minutes, but this is important. If you are working on the Mac, this is what you will do. Even if you're working on Windows and you have not installed Power BI on your computer, you can do this, right? So you can go to app.powerbi.com. I'll just share the link with you. So that's the Power BI website, app.powerbi.com. Right? Please sign in. Don't do it right now. You guys can do it later. It's not important right now. app.powerbi.com. The Mac user, please go to app.powerbi.com. In fact, can you share your screen? That would be easier. So I can tell you how to do it and the others can watch it too.
Yes, sir.
Somebody had the Mac, right? Can you share your screen? Vihan, can you just confirm?
Yes, sir. Abhishek, are having the Mac.
Sir, I'm having network issue in this moment.
Okay, all right. Then we can't help it. So then you will have to watch. So we basically go to app.powerbi.com, right? It's very simple, okay? You go to app.powerbi.com, sign in. If you haven't created an account, you create an account. Then in the bottom left corner, do you see this? There's a button called Get Data. In the bottom left corner of your screen, you will see Get Data. You have to click on that. So essentially, what are we doing? When we are working on the software, we have connected to the Excel. I can do the same thing directly from the website as well. And when I click on Get Data, I can connect to my file. And which file? I'll just go to local file and select the same Excel file. Once I've done that, What do I want to select? I will say, I want to connect with the data in the workbook so that I can create Power BI reports and dashboards for it. So we import the file. And the moment you import the file, you will get the data here, this one, right? And you will now be able to, one second. You will be able to go to that data and just a moment. This is not what we wanted. We want to be able to, one second, just hide all the other things. Global, yeah. So you have the data set here. You will have to say create report here, right? So on the left side, you have data sets, global superstore. You click on the three dots and then you select create report. Once you do that, you notice the same interface that we have on Power BI desktop is available here as well, right? So everyone, what we have here, the same thing is available on the cloud as well. But then if it is working so well on the cloud, why do we need to install the software? See, this will have limited features. If you want all the features, then you will have to work on Power BI desktop. But since Abhishek is working on Mac, you don't have an option. You will have to do it like this. But for all the others, let's say you're working on a laptop on which Power BI is not installed. This is also a second option, but this is not what you should do because the options here will be limited compared to what you get on Power BI desktop. Any questions on this? So once again, I selected get data, I imported the file, and then you have to select the data set here. You will only have one, like I have so many data sets. You will only have one data set. Just click on the three dots and click on create report like this. That's all. Right. Let's start with the question. I want to ask a question to the system without writing any formulas, without doing any manual work. Let's see. So I click on Q&A, and in this large window, very nicely, I want to ask a question saying, show me my sales. So I'll say, show me my sales. And as you notice, it automatically tells us that our sales is $12.64 million. Please do this, everyone. Show me my sales, and it should show you the total sales. Right? Now, what if I want to see the sales for each market? So I will say for each market, and it will show me the sales for each market. Very cool, right? But what if I said, show me my sales for each country? Now, obviously, when I write country, then it will show a list of 165 countries there. And this doesn't look good, right? Because some countries are very large and most of them are very small. So I will say, show me my sales for each country, but as a map. And it will automatically make a map for you. Any questions on this, anyone?
So all we need to do is put the keywords in the
Yeah,
question.
that's it. Just the keywords. Okay. So in a way, if you just said sales country map, it would have done the same thing, right? But it's easier for you and for the other person to ask a proper question, because that way you can construct the question properly, especially if it's a long question. So even though it can identify keywords, it's not suggested that you do that. Microsoft recommends that you should be asking a complete question, not just keywords. But there's a problem, right? The problem is there are too many countries right now. it's very cluttered. Ideally, what do I want? To only see one market at a time. So I only want to see Africa or Latin America or United States, Canada or Asia Pacific. So I will just click outside. Okay, I will not select this Q&A. I'll click outside and I will make a slicer, this one. Everybody, I will make a slicer, this one. And the moment I make the slicer, what do I keep in the slicer? I will just put my market in the slicer, like this. And you know what will happen? My map and my slicer will be automatically connected. How cool is that? I can just click on any market and it automatically zooms into that particular market. Right? So if I select APAC, it only highlights APAC for me.
So can you please repeat this step
Which step?
from the slicer?
All I've done is I made a slicer, this one, and in the slicer I've kept my market. That's all. Is it working?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, now this is great, right? With very little effort, we can create a beautiful dashboard. But the problem is the slicer does not have a border. It's just sort of floating on my screen. So in the format option, this one, in the format, we will put a border and a shadow like this. It looks much better, doesn't it? So I will select the slicer, go to format, and we will add a border and a shadow. You have to do this for the map as well. So select this border and a shadow. So this looks much better now. Right?
But I can't see the option of market.
What do you mean you can't see the option for market?
Sir, I'm just clicking on the left option and market
Sir,
is not
actually,
on.
same here. I think the problem is that even formatting, I cannot choose an option for the slicer.
Share your
So,
screen. Let's see.
yes, sir. So same, I'll just same issue. So I've selected here, but I cannot like make any changes or.
First, you have to put the market, no? In the field, you have to put the market.
Sir, I'm not able to actually do anything.
Select the market and drag it in the field. From the right side, select the market
Okay, sir.
and
From
drag
here.
it to the left.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right? That's it. Now go to format and change the border and shadow.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Right, everyone? So obviously, before you put the market or at least something, the border and the shadow option will not come. So the order is very important. You first have to put something, then you can change the border and the shadow. Now the issue is that this looks great. I can see all the markets are a single market. But I'm not able to look at my total sales anywhere, right? There is no number. There's no point of making a visualization if you're not presenting the total sales value. So again, we'll click outside and I will select a card, this one. It has the symbol 1, 2, 3 written on it, the card. right? And when I select the card, in the card, we will keep our sales value. Very simple. Make the card and we will put our sales value here. So it tells us 4.04 million. And obviously these are automatically connected. So if I click on any market, you notice my map is also changing, right? And my number is also changing. Just remember that here Russia is actually mapped with Europe, not with Asia Pacific. That's the reason Russia is coming in Europe, right? That's the mapping in the file. It's not in Eurasia, it's coming in Europe here. And if I zoom in and I select a country, let's say India, you notice it selects the data only for India, 589. Right? So this is looking good, but I also want to see my top 5 customers. To see my top 5 customers, we can do the same thing that we did. We can make another Q&A, right? I'll make another Q&A. I'll just place it here. And in this Q&A, I will write, show me top 5 customer name by sales, right? Show me top 5 customer name by sales. Let me add a border and a shadow and just see how nice this is. You can click on, if I look worldwide, these are my top 5 customers: Tom, Tamara, Greg, Christopher, and Sean. But if I only want to look at India, in India, if I click, in India, my top 5 customers are Gary, Vivek, and okay, actually don't click on a country. It will not work. I'll tell you later. Just select the market. For each market, it will show you who the top customers are. And if you want this to become a pie chart, you can just say as a pie and it will convert this into a pie chart. Right? Please make sure everybody has this. It should look exactly like this. Take your time. We are in no hurry. We have today and 2 more days. It's important to learn it properly. The idea is not to do it quickly. The idea is to learn it properly. Right?
Sir, can you repeat the process for making a pie chart? I actually missed it. I was in another window.
Nothing. You make a Q&A. We already know how to make the question and answer. Just ask this question. Show me top 5 customer name by sales as a pie. That's all.
So okay, as a pie. Okay.
It's in the question itself.
So we have to first create the map, right?
I'm sorry.
In this whole procedure, we have to first select map and then slicer.
No. You can do it in any order that you want. It doesn't matter.
Okay, actually,
See, I've created 4 different visualizations. One is a card, one is a slicer, one is a map, one is a pie chart. You can make them in any order that you want. There is no difference. They will all be connected to each other.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I just had
the
a
card.
generic doubt.
Tell me.
Sir, what can we say? Like when you said large data sets, it can handle pretty well, but not super large. Sir, is there like some kind of estimate we can have in our minds? Like if you want that in a conversation with somebody, you want to say, that this won't be pretty good with Power BI, sir. How would we be able to decide that?
See, when I say large, I'm referring to 50 crore, 70 crore records.
Right, sir.
That's what I mean by large, right? There is no hard limit on it. Both Power
Okay,
BI
sir.
and so on Power BI, I can connect to 1 second. On Power BI, I can connect to SAP, I can connect to Oracle databases. When I say large, I'm not referring in thousands and lakhs. I'm referring in crores here, right? So when you're talking about big data, this can handle big data as well. So we do have, 1 second, let me show it to you. Oh, no, what am I doing? Let's get data, show it properly. 1 second. So we have Google BigQuery, right? Google BigQuery can handle data sets of sizes that you can't even fathom. It's so large, right? Imagine the data that Big Bazaar is collecting in 1 year across the country. That is the sort of data where you use big data like Google BigQuery. So Power BI is also capable of doing the same thing. The difference is that Tableau is a little more efficient at handling super large data sets. Power BI is also very good at it, but because Tableau is an older tool, it has been around for 18 years, there's a little bit of difference, but more or less it's the same. Both of them can handle very large data sets also. In fact, there was somebody who tried to upload. Did you see this? With Power BI, organization to perform petabyte scale analytics. You know how much a petabyte is, right? A petabyte is 1,000 terabytes, right? Just absolutely, that's like 10 lakh gigabytes of data. That is the size that Power BI can handle. But this is not that simple. I mean, in the sense that there are a lot of factors that come into play. How is the model created? You know, how do aggregations work? How are you connecting to that data set? But yeah, as you can see, we can connect to trillions of rows as well, right? For simplicity, let's just say that there's no difference. Power BI and Tableau both can handle any size of data. Right?
Understood, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I don't really like the white background because it looks very much like a PowerPoint presentation. You know, I wanted to look a little nicer. It's looking very boring right now. So I'll click on the page, right? Do not select any of the visualizations. I click on the page, and in the format, you can change the page background color. So I'll just change it to blue, like this.
So can you please repeat the process?
To do what?
So to change the background color.
You click on the page or any empty area on the page, go to format, and then select page background. Right? And if you want to put a text box or an image, you can do that also. So I'll just make a text box, insert text box, like you do on PowerPoint. So insert text box. So I just add a text box and call it my first, let's just call it sales dashboard. Let's increase the size as well. 24 should be okay, and change the color as well. And I want to choose a slightly more interesting font. So let's choose maybe Consolas, right? Right? Please also make sure to save the work that you have done. So just press Ctrl S and I'll save it on the desktop. I'll call this PBI, Power BI, right? Right? Any questions so far? Anyone? All good. All right. Let's make one more page. So please right click and duplicate the page. Everyone, please right click and duplicate the page so that the title and the color will still be there. Right click and duplicate the page. And just remove everything. Just keep the title. That's all. We don't need anything else. Please remove everything. So this is my first page. I'll just call this 001. This becomes 002. Now in this page, I want to look at my data a little differently. That means we want to create two charts, and the two charts will show me different things. Let's take an example. The first chart that I want to create is a column chart. Everyone, please select this, the stacked column chart. And what do we want to keep in the column chart? Now we know how to create a chart, right? In this column chart, very simply, I want to keep my segment and sales amount like this. Please do this, everyone. Segment and sales amount. Segment is in axis and sales is in value. Column chart, segment, sales, like this. Right? Now we have the segments with us, which is great. I also want to make a second chart that will show us all the subcategories, which means I have my segment here. I will make another chart, which is my tree map. This one is called the tree map. And in the tree map, what do we want to make? Let's keep it on the right. Let me know if anybody has any issue, okay? In the tree map, we want to keep our subcategory, okay? And our category both like this. And our sales amount like this. So if you notice carefully, let me just highlight it so that all of you can see this. I've created a tree map, which is this one. And I've kept both my category and my subcategory and my sales value like this. I'm also adding a border and a shadow like we have always done. It should look like this. Right? Now the problem is, you must be wondering, we have put the category and the subcategory, but where is the subcategory? The subcategory will be visible if you click on the expand button, this one. If you click on expand, it will show you all the subcategories. If you go back, it will show you all the categories like this. 3 categories, 17 subcategories. So this is like a 2-in-1. I'm presenting 2 different things in the same chart, either category by sales, sales by category, or sales by subcategory. right? Now, before I tell you how these charts interact with each other, let us see the problem with the formatting. The issue is that there are no numbers, right? Like if I take my mouse, it shows me the numbers, which is okay. Then I would like to see the numbers even when the mouse is not hovered over the columns, correct? That means we have to go to formatting now. So I will select my first chart, the column chart. I'll go to formatting, and very easily there's an option called data label, which I'll turn on like this. So you can see the numbers here, same thing here as well. I will go and turn on the data labels like this. So by default, the data labels are not shown for any chart. If you want to enable it, it's just a simple click. You can enable the data label. Right? Now, let us see how these two charts can interact with each other. Watch carefully. What is the total sales for technology? 47 lakhs, 44,557, correct? But this technology product is being sold to all the three segments, to consumer, corporate, and home office. So if I click on consumer, what will happen? You notice technology is getting filtered. It's getting highlighted. So it is telling me that the total sales for technology is 47 lakh 44,000, out of which the consumer segment has purchased 24 lakhs. And again, corporate has purchased 14 lakhs and home office has purchased 8 lakhs. Do you see how amazing this is? These charts can actually interact with each other. This is not possible on Excel, right? Please try this. And the best part is no formulas required, no manual work required. It just works.
So my support degree is not coming under the category column.
Share your screen.
The same problem.
Yeah. Select the tree map first. First, select the tree map. Right. Select your subcategory and drag it below the category till you see a yellow line. Just drag it up slowly. Yeah, till you see that yellow line. Drop it, just leave it, leave it. That's it. Right. So there are two amazing things that we have done here. Number one, we are able to show category and subcategory in the same chart like this. Number two, these two charts are interacting with each other. So I can see in the consumer segment, corporate and home office, what is the contribution of sales, right? So it's not that it looks nice. It actually makes a lot of sense for the business, right? Like they're looking at the data, they say, okay, phones has sold 17 lakh 6,824. But then they say, okay, in the home office segment, what was sold? So out of 17 lakhs, 3 lakh was sold in the home office segment, right? Like this. Now we can also make another slicer. So I'll click outside, make a slicer for my, let's keep it here, for my region. Please do this, everybody. Please select your region. Great. And we can all see how this will work now. Since everything in a Power BI dashboard is connected to each other, you can click on any region and you notice my charts will change. right?
So can you please repeat once more how region came there?
I have made a slicer,
Yeah.
and in the slicer we have kept our region. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Guys, please ask, okay, if you're getting stuck anywhere. The point of the training is not to show you what all is possible. You have to learn it, right? Otherwise, there's no point. And we have time. That's why we have 3 days dedicated to this. So it's not that we have to finish in a hurry. There's no point completing early and not learning. Okay, so any small question, doubt you have, please make sure to ask.
So I'm not able to maintain a connection between the this
Share
column.
share your screen. Let's see.
Not getting the category.
Yeah. What is the question?
So like there's no like, how I'm supposed to categorize the things here.
Wait,
Since
let's go one by one. No, hold. Wait. Hold on. Click on technology. Okay. Click on technology. Yeah. No. Click once again. Wait. You noted. At least let me speak. See, you have selected category in both the charts. That's why it is not coming. That means in the chart on the left, you don't have to select the category. You will select the business segment, right? So remove the category. No, not from this one, from the other chart, from the column chart. Click on it, right? Remove the category. You want to keep the segment.
Sure, sir.
Right? Yeah, remove this and keep the segment. Scroll down. Right? Now it will work.
Okay.
So what was happening? You had kept the same thing in both places. That's why it was not coming. Right?
Okay.
And just a moment, let me just check. Just click on, no, go back. I want to check something. Share your screen again. Yeah, just click on consumer segment once. Just one time. Yeah. Click again. Yeah, just click once again. Okay, and now click on the, no, don't click. Just deselect it. Do not click on anything. Yeah, this is what I want. Now, just show me the second chart. What all have you kept in the second chart? In the second chart, you have kept category and subcategory. Okay, this is okay. Perfect. So it is working, no? So you should be able to. Yeah, so what is happening is you are now clicking on the second chart. Click on only the first chart. Click on only the consumer column. Click one time on the consumer column, just one time. Right? Now you notice the category will show you two parts, right? If you take your mouse on the orange rectangle, it will show you two numbers. Total sales in technology is 47 lakhs, out of which in the consumer segment you have sold 24 lakhs, right? See, what happens is, everyone, let me share my screen. The connection is a two-way connection. What that means is, if I click on consumer, it shows me 47 and 24, correct? But if I click on technology, it does a reverse connection. It tells me that total consumer is 65, out of which technology is 24. Right? I hope that makes sense. So the connection is two-way. I can either click here to interact with the second chart, or I can click on the second chart to interact with the first chart. Whatever the region interacts with both of them at the same time. Right? I'll just wait for 1 minute in case anybody has any questions. All okay? And see, it's not that you can only keep one slicer. I can make multiple slices. I can make copy and paste one more slicer, right? So in the first one, we have the region, which is here. And in the second one, I want to keep my market. Now what will happen? Market, market, market. Now what will happen? There are two slices I have, right? Which means when I select Asia Pacific, it will only show me the regions in Asia Pacific. And if I select Southeast Asia, it will only show me Southeast Asia like this. So it's not that you can only keep one slicer. In fact, on good dashboards, there are many slicers that I kept. So I can have market region like this. For that matter, I can make a third one, and I can also put my country here. So I can put my country in this, right? Like this. So if I select Asia Pacific and I select Southeast Asia, it only shows me the countries in Southeast Asia, like this. So there are three levels to my slicer. But the right way of doing this is not to do this. The right way is, which I want you to do with me, is to put all the three at the same time. Let me show you how we do it. I'm just increasing the size. I will keep market. Below the market, I will keep my region. Below the region, we will keep our country. Below the country, I'll keep my state. And below the state, we'll keep our city. So it's very smart, isn't it? Now I can click on Asia Pacific, open it. If it show me all the regions, I click on Southeast Asia. It shows me all the countries. I click on South Asia. So it shows me all the countries. I select India. It shows me all the states, right? Then I only want to select, let's say, UP. That's where I stay. And then UP, I will select anyone, let's say Agra, right? For example. So this is so nice, right? It is taking up very little space, and I can actually make 5 different levels in this, like this. Please make this. It's not difficult, but see what happens is it all looks very simple. When you do it yourself, you might have some questions. So please make sure to practice on this. So always remember, you're not a designer. The purpose of making a Power BI report is not to make it look very pretty. The idea is that you want to enable analysis. You should be able to derive insights from it. I would always prefer if the dashboard doesn't look so nice, but it gives me more information, rather than a dashboard that looks very nice but doesn't give me a lot of information. Good. So far, what have we done? We have done Q&A, card, and a slicer. Here we have done 2 charts, and we have seen how these 2 charts connect with each other, right? In the next page, we will see how we can work with a timeline. How do we look at the time-based data? So once again, I will right click and duplicate the page. Let's call this 003 and just delete everything, okay? Delete, delete, and delete. Okay. Now we're going to work with time data. So we select a trend line, this one. Everybody select the line chart. And in the line chart, we are going to keep our order date in the axis, and the sales will come in the value like this. Please do this. Order date is an axis and the sales will come in value. Please see this. Order date and the sales value.
Sir, I have one doubt in the previous dashboard.
Tell me.
Sir, may I just share my screen just for a second?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Sir, how do I see for all of them selected at once? It's like I'm selecting one and then
Press Control and click. Press Control and click.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, thank you for it.
Yeah. Right. So please make this, everyone. I have made a line chart. In the line chart, we have our axis and we have our sales value. It doesn't look very nice, does it? It only shows me the years 12, 13, 14, 15. So I can see that the data for 15 is 42 lakhs, 34 lakhs, 26 lakhs, and 22 lakhs. But I want to see the data at a quarter level, not at a year-wise level. So I can click on the expand button, this one. What will it do? It will show me all the quarter. If I click once again, it will show me all the month. And if I click one last time, it will show me all the dates, right? So there are 4 levels that you have: the year, the quarter, the month, and the day, okay, like this. For now, ignore the second and the third button. We will not be covering this. Let's just focus on the first one and the last one. So I would like everyone to come to the month level like this.
Sir, I have another doubt, sir. Sir, is it common that this Power BI get crashed, sir, because
No.
बहुत hang होता है, sir?
No, never. If it is hanging, it must be just a rare chance that it is hanging. Power BI is more is safer than Excel. Excel tab bhi hang ho jayega, Power BI will never crash. Very rare that Power BI crashes. If it is happening, maybe you can try to install it once again or restart your computer. Since you're doing it for the first time, you're using it for the first time. But the software otherwise is very, very safe. It's
it happened with me as well.
Sir,
I can't say, guys. In my experience with trainings, I've never seen crashing ever happening. What is happening? Is it slowing down or is it completely crashing?
Sir, it completely crashed.
Actually, this would.
There's a bit of lag between functions and nothing else.
Sir, this would be because the RAM is low, so it's consuming more of the RAM. Like
See,
I
guys.
closed my Chrome and all the other applications, and now it's working perfectly fine without any lag.
You can look at it. Right now, Power BI is consuming 1 GB RAM. Okay, Chrome is consuming another GB RAM. Now I have 16 GB of RAM with me. I don't know how much you guys have, but in fact, I have 24 GB of RAM between my video RAM and my local RAM. So obviously, I will not have a slowdown, but yes, Power BI does have a slightly high consumption, not very high. As you can see, Chrome is 1100. Even though I only have how many tabs open? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not a lot, right? But yeah, I mean, maybe you can try to close the other things if you are facing a problem with the speed. Right? Okay, so we have the timeline and I think it looks great. Now you must be wondering, what's the big deal? I could have done this on Excel also. Let me show you something that is not possible on Excel, at least not like this. Please click outside. Once you make the timeline, please click outside and select the slicer. We have already made the slicer. The difference is that this time in the slicer, I want to keep not my segment or my category or my region. We want to keep our order date and see what happens. It will make a timeline like this. How cool is that? Everyone, this is my line chart with the order date and the sales value. And this is my timeline with the my slicer with the order date in it. Okay, let me add a border and a shadow. And obviously, now all of you must have guessed that these are connected to each other. That means that if I change this, my line chart will also change for that specific period. Doesn't it look nice? Just look at the level of flexibility this gives you. I'm also adding my data labels, okay, so I can see the numbers here.
So can you just repeat this step again?
What to repeat? The line
How
chart or
can
the
we
slicer?
no slicer?
Just make a slicer and put the order date. That's all.
Okay, okay.
Make a slicer and put the order date in it. And if you put your segment in the legend, since there are 3 segments, it will give us 3 lines like this. Right? So if I put the segment in the legend, it will give me 3 different lines like this. Which helps me compare the 3 segments.
So can you please repeat the process?
To do what?
So the last thing that you said.
The segment has to be in legend. So remember, the formatting options are there. You can change the color and everything possible. So for example, if I don't want this white background, I can go to format. I can select my background color and I can add a different color. So don't think that, oh, Power BI means that it only has to be, the color that has been given to you. You can experiment and do whatever you want to do. It is completely up to you. So maybe you want to keep a black color just for something different, okay? So I can keep my background color as very dark blue like this. Now, obviously my text and all will not be visible. So I can select my data labels. In fact, let me select all the other elements. So I select my x-axis and I'll change the color to white. Don't do all this. I'm just giving you an example of how interesting charts can be built. Y-axis, I will change to white, right? Like this. And finally, I will also select my legend and change it to white. Basically, everything has to be converted to white color. Right? And also my title has to be white. It looks nice, doesn't it? I mean, it's like a very financial type of a chart. So the point is, there is nothing right or wrong here. It is up to you how you want to present the data. For example, if you look at charts prepared by not Morgan Stanley, what should I show you? Yeah, some of these stock charts, they always have this very strong black color because these are called high contrast charts. It's easier to see the information when you have a very high contrast color at the back. Right? Again, this is just an example. I just wanted to show you that it is possible to do formatting. It's not that a lot of people go back with the impression that, oh, Power BI means it has to be a white background. I can't make changes, but as you can see, it looks much better than earlier, doesn't it? It's much easier to read the numbers since the numbers are a very strong contrast with the background, white and black, like this. And of course, the size and all can also be changed. So I can increase the size, right? Same for the y-axis, I will increase the size. So nothing is difficult here. You just have to spend some time. You will have to go through all the formatting options, go one by one to see how many options are available, right? Yeah, any questions, anyone?
Yes, sir. So this might seem a silly question, but I just wanted to know that suppose we are using all this data, like all the graphs and everything that is there in the, we are just for a presentation sake, and we wanted it to be in a PowerPoint. So will the interface remains the same? No. Okay.
No, you're not supposed to. You can download this as a PowerPoint, but then nothing will be dynamic. Everything will be a screenshot. Right?
Okay.
You will not be able to do all this.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Which sort of defeats the purpose, right? So you're supposed to present it like this. So once you prepare it, like I have some dashboards here. One second. Like I have a dashboard here. So once you prepare the final dashboard and you publish it online, then you can present it full screen like this on the internet. This is like a PowerPoint, no?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's what you do. This I'll be covering later, how to publish it online. This will be covering on the final day.
Okay.
But yeah, the short answer is that if you want to just take it to a PowerPoint, you can take it to a PowerPoint, but then nothing will be dynamic. Everything will be static. Good. Any other questions, anyone? Right. Okay. So now let's do something different. Right. Let's make another page. Again, right click and duplicate. And let me show you. Let's remove everything. Let me show you the power of custom visualization. See, internally we have column, bar, line, area, pie chart, scatter chart, all these things, correct? So we will come back to some of these, but I quickly want to show you how custom visualizations work. So please click on this option called More Visuals. Everyone, please select More Visuals. This is like a marketplace. Like on Android and iOS, you have a marketplace. Similarly, here you can download even more visualizations. And how many visualizations are available? There are more than 200 visualizations available here. What, I also got jinxed. My Power BI is also crashing now. Wait. Let's wait for a moment. Right. So I click on more visuals and this marketplace will open up. And as you can see, everyone, I have many different options available here. Right. And there are so many that you will go crazy. You will not even know, you will not even have time to go through all of them. There are so many of them. But we want to start with a simple one. This is, everyone, this is my advanced donut. Please search for this. Advanced donut. Please select this advanced donut. And how do you add it to the report? It's a free visualization. You just have to click on add, right? If it just take a few seconds and the visualization will get added to your Power BI report here. It's the drill down donut chart. It has not been created by Microsoft. So it has been created by a different company, Zoom Charts. Now let me show you something. Don't do it, right? I'll tell you when I want you to work with me. If I make a pie chart, everyone, we all know what a pie chart is. If I make a pie chart, can I keep different levels in it? Can I keep my segment, category, and subcategory in it like this? Absolutely. Right. Now we have already done this, no? I can keep 3 levels, segment, category, and subcategory here in Legend. And if I click on the expand button, it will show me all of them. But the problem is this doesn't really look very nice. Even though it is showing me all the segment, category, and the subcategory, this movement from the first one to the next one doesn't look very nice. That is why I want all of you to make the drill down donut chart. Please make this the drill down donut chart. And you will see how amazing this is. Keep the same 3 things, segment, category below that, and then subcategory below that. It should look like this. It should look like this. Right. Now there are 3 levels that are supported. And how is this different from a normal pie chart? This is the same thing. You can go to multiple levels, but this is more fluid. The animation is there. In the previous one, there was no animation, right? So when I click on consumer, look what will happen. It will break consumer into 3 parts: technology, office, and furniture. If I click on technology, it will break technology into 4 types. If I click on furniture, there are 4 types. If I click on office supplies, there are 9 types of office supplies like this. Please try this, everyone. Any questions, anyone, on this? Looks very nice, doesn't it? Like imagine doing something like this on PowerPoint. You just can't, right? PowerPoint or Excel. And here, this is just a few clicks that allow you to do this. Right? Okay. Let's look at one more custom visualization. So we can do it on the same page. We don't need to make a different page. Just make this a little smaller. Come back to custom visuals. and I want you to select. Just give me a moment. Let me just think which one I want you to work on. Select the pulse chart, PULS, the pulse chart. So you select the pulse chart, click on add. And how this works is, it is like a line chart, but the difference is this. This is very cool. Watch this. If I put my order date in the pulse chart and my sales value, you know what will happen? It will not just make a chart like this. You can click on the play button and it will make the pulse like this. Amazing, right? Such a nice way of presenting data. Now, obviously, you don't want to show it at a day-wise level. So what I usually like to do is I make a slicer with my order date, right? Like this, so that we're only viewing the data for, let's say, 1 year. We don't want to see the data for all the 4 years, right? So we can only select a time period like this, right? Looks very nice. Let's see how it works now. So border and shadow and border and shadow. Okay, I'll give you time to ask questions, but just see how nicely this works. I click on the play button and it automatically makes a pulse for me. Right? If you want to increase the speed of this pulse, you can also do that. You can go to formatting and you have some simple options here like playback. You can say the playback speed is 25, so that the speed increases. Such an amazing storytelling way of presenting your data like this. You can also pause it. You can talk about the data and then you can continue, right? Like this. And obviously what you're presenting is dynamic, right? Actually, it's not dynamic here. 1 second. Yeah, I'm not sure the pulse chart is dynamic, but anyway, the pulse chart is at least what you can see like this. Just try this out and let me know if you have any questions.
Sir, what are the fields we need to select in pulse chart?
Yeah, so in the pulse chart, we just have 2 things. We have order date in the timestamp and sales in the value. That's all. Ignore all the other things. The order date and the sales value. Right? Any questions, anyone? Okay, so after this, we'll come to some more advanced visualizations. See, there are so many custom visuals. I can't really explain every single one to you. Even I have not worked on all of them, but I'll share a link with you. This is the Power BI visual reference. So everyone, please open this link that I shared with you. 1 second. It's a very old link, so they haven't updated it for 2 years, but despite that, it's very nice. Okay. So what you have on the link is they have given you a reference guide like this. So they've given you a list of not all of the visuals available, but like most of the important visuals available. So this is a good glossary to keep with you. Right? Any questions, anyone? Let me just see if there's any update on this. Right. Okay, so let's start with some advanced visualizations. And of course, tomorrow we'll do more topics. Please make a new page, duplicate page, and let me call this 005. Let me delete this, delete this. Okay. I want to create what we call a waterfall chart, which looks like this. It's primarily a financial visualization, which tells you stage-wise what is the change that is happening. Like if you look at this one, it shows you that the online sales is 400, then your store sales, this is your total sales. Now, after the total sales, you're also plotting your costs. So fixed cost, variable, cost of goods sold, promotion, total cost, and this is your total profit. Right? That is how the waterfall chart can be used. Right, everyone? So the idea here is it's mostly used for financial analysis, and all the consulting firms and the professional services firms use it. So if you look at anyone, McKinsey and BCG, I mean, any of the reports, you'll find these used very, very commonly. Right? Let's see how we do this on Power BI. This is not a custom visuals. You don't have to download it. You can simply select it, this one, the waterfall chart. Let's just make a nice big waterfall chart like this. And here's my question. If I put my order date in category, right, and my sales in value, it should show me this. Please make this, everyone. Please put the order date in category and the sales value, sales in values, like this. Right. Now here's my question. From 2012 to 2013, the sales increased. So from 22 lakh 59,000, it became 26 lakh 77,000. But can you assume that all the three segments have grown? What do you think? Can you assume that all the three segments have grown?
No.
No, sir.
So this is what we want to validate. We want to check if if all the three segments have grown or not. And to do this, there is an option called breakdown, this one. Right? And if I put my segment in the breakdown, something very interesting will happen. It will now show me that all the segments have grown, yes, year over year, but the segments have not grown at the same level. Do you see this? From 2012 to 2013, my consumer segment grew from 11 lakhs to 14 lakhs. That was a growth of 24%. But my corporate segment only grew by 11%, And my home office segment only grew by 11% again, right? Only by 45,000. Same thing from 13 to 14, the biggest change was in the corporate segment. My corporate segment grew by 2.9 lakhs, which is 37%. And in 14 to 15, my consumer segment grew by 23%, 4,12,000, like this. Looks very nice, doesn't it? Like such an easy way to find out if the sales has grown over time or not, right? I can also put my profit here. Let me just see if that makes a difference. That will be the same. Doesn't really make a difference. It's for the sales only. Great. Any questions on this, anyone? And if you wonder how these calculations are happening, like how does it know that from 13 to 14, the corporate segment grew by 2.9 lakhs, which is 37%. These calculations are happening automatically. That's the best part. Power BI is automatically taking care of the calculations for you so that you don't have to do anything. Great, like this. And needless to say, if I make a slicer with my market, I can also view for different markets, does the same result hold true or not, right? So if I make a slicer for my market, you can see that. If I click on each market, very interesting, isn't it? In the Africa market, from 12 to 13, did the business grow? Absolutely. Look at this. From 1.2 lakhs, it became 1.4 lakhs, right? Consumer segment grew by 40%, which is crazy, very high number. Corporate also grew, but very marginally at 9%, only 3,000. The home office segment actually degrew, right, by 39%. And this is why waterfall charts are very important. See, without the waterfall charts, it's very easy to miss out on these small things. Overall, it looks as if the business is growing, correct? But then how do you know at a more deep level whether the growth is happening across all the markets and all the segments or not? Maybe there is some combination that is not working well. That is what the waterfall allows you to do. Right? Right. Any questions, anyone? All good? All right, let's just quickly recap what all we have done. We have done Q&A, slicer, card. We've changed the background color. We have created 2 levels in the tree map. We have connected 2 charts. Then we have done our trend line with the timeline slicer. We have done the pulse chart and the drill down donut. And we've also done the waterfall chart, right? Let me just think, what else do I want to cover for today, right, before we resume tomorrow? Let me just think. So I want to do tooltips with you, but I want to do tooltips tomorrow, is it? Or can we do it today itself? I think let's do tooltips, right? Because tomorrow also we have many other things to cover. Great. What I want you to do, everyone, is to just give me a second. Let me just go and see what all we have made up till now. Let me just think, just a second. Yeah, let's do this. Please make a new page, everybody. Just make a blank page. Do not duplicate, make a blank page. Everyone, make a blank page. And I want to call this tooltip, TT. Everyone, just call this TT. So what I want to do, I want to connect this page with this visualization, this one, right? With my tree map, or let's say with my column chart. So what should happen? When the user takes the mouse and hovers it over the column, it should not show this black colored box, which is segment consumer sales 5620. It should show the tooltip, right? How do we do this? Remember, I want to connect this page with the other visualization. So on the page, we just go to page format and in page information, turn the tooltip on. Please do this. On the page that you have just created, don't make anything. We'll make something later. But just go to page information and turn the tooltip on. Right? And once you have done that, let's go back to the other visual. Please select the visual, everyone, that we had created earlier. You can try this on a different visual also, but I would suggest if you can do it on the same one so that we are all doing it together. Please select the visual. I want to connect that page to this one, to this visualization. So I go to format, and towards the end, you have an option called tooltip, this one. Towards the end, you have an option called tooltip. Now you notice that the tooltip is already activated and you might get confused. How is it activated? See, there is a tooltip. This black box is nothing but a tooltip. But what we want to do is to reconnect it to the other page. So I'll open my tooltip and connect it to which page? My TT page, like this. Right, everyone? So we clicked on the visual, we went to format, we went to tooltip, and we connected it to the TT page. Now think what will happen. Obviously, now that I've connected it to the TT page, when I take my mouse, it will show me the entire page like this. So it is doing what I wanted it to do, but it doesn't make any sense. Why would I want to show such a large page on top of my current page, right? What we want to do is to create something like this. We want to create something like this. It's a chart on top of another chart like this. It looks very nice, doesn't it? It's a chart on top of another chart. So what should we do? I want to go to the TT page and I want to reduce the size of the page. We don't want such a large chart. We just want a tiny chart. So on the format, we've already activated the tooltip, but in the page size, we will change the size to any size that we want, right? You can either select a tooltip, which is a predefined size, or you can put a custom size, which is any size that you want, right? So I'm going to choose a tooltip, which is a predefined size, like this. How much, what is the size? 320 pixels by 240 pixels. Basically, we have reduced the size. Page size tooltip. How do you know that the size has been reduced? If I go to the second page, do you see this, everyone? Now the tooltip has become much smaller, which is what we wanted. Please make sure that this is working for everyone. Once you have made it, then we will put another chart inside the tooltip. We'll first make this. We're done. Now, what should we put on that page? Anything you want. For example, in this page, maybe I want to make a pie chart, right? Showing me my shipping mode. So I want to keep my sales and my shipping mode like this. In fact, let me select a simple chart. Let's not select a pie chart for now. Let's just select a column chart like this, right? Let me add a border and a shadow. So what will happen when you go back to the second page? Look how nice this is. You can just take your mouse and it shows you the other chart like this. Amazing, right? This is like a chart inside another chart. And that other chart can be any chart that you want. Like here I've created my shipping mode. Everybody, 1 second. Right, like this. And then below this, I can make yet another chart. I can make a card which shows me my sales value, for example, right? Let me reduce the size. So now we have two charts here. We have the shipping mode, we have the sales amount. When I come back, look how nice this is. We have the sales amount and the shipping mode like this. Okay. Just try this out, everybody. Tell me if you have any questions.
So how did you add the other chart, the second one?
Just a copy paste. So once I made the first one, just create some extra space, just do a Control-C, Control-V and change the type of chart. That's all. It's not that there are only two charts. You can add as many charts as you want. As long as you have enough space, you can add as many charts as you want. So again, the advantage of using the tooltip is not that it looks nice. It's about the fact that you can present so much information in a single dashboard, right? Like I can see the consumer corporate home office. In addition to that, if I also want to see the shipping mode and the sales amount, I can see it like this, right? There's no limit to your creativity. You can go absolutely crazy and do as many things as you want. To give you an example, just give me a second. I just want to clean this up a little bit. Otherwise, this just keeps on getting added one by one and I never get a chance to do this. 1 second, guys. And I think this looks okay. My workspace is okay. Global Superstore. Let me just move it. 1 second. And Power BI, delete it. Great. Yeah, so I was just showing you how these can be created. No? So let me give you an example. This is my HR2. Look at this. Do you see this? This is a tooltip that I've created. Right. It looks very nice, doesn't it? And the point here is that I have created a tooltip, this box that you see, and that tooltip has many things in it. It has 3 charts, one for the job survey, environment survey, and the relationship survey. And there are 3 charts, there are 3 images that I have put. So it looks very nice. And like this is another tooltip I've created. This is yet another tooltip that I've created. Right? Like this. So that is up to you. It's up to your creativity, how much time you spend on it, on beautifying it. Like you make a PowerPoint presentation, the right colors and the images and all. The same thing you will have to do with Power BI as well. Good. Any questions so far, anyone? Along with the recording for today's session, I'll also upload the file in case you have missed out on anything and you want to go back and have a look. Right? Obviously, there are many more things in Power BI which we'll be covering in the next session, like how to combine multiple files and create calculations and all. This is just a simple dashboard that we have done today, but you see the potential of the tool. Right? Any questions, anyone?
So how is Power BI useful in the field of product management?
In the field of product management, I mean,
Or
like
overall in marketing?
data visualization, you want to present data, present insights, best customers, top selling products, the regions that are not doing well. You launched a new product, you want to see where it is selling more, things like that. So data that way, why do you use PowerPoint? Why don't you just take out printouts of your report and submit it to the manager? You make a PowerPoint because it's easier to present your data on a PowerPoint. So it is even more easier to do it on Power BI because it's all interactive. In PowerPoint, everything is static. You can't change anything. Here, everything will be interactive.
Okay, thank you.
Right? Like if you see marketing dashboards, Power BI, there are a lot of samples available online. Just type marketing dashboard Power BI and you can see, look at the different types of dashboards that people have created. This is on digital marketing. So the amount of money that the company is spending, right? This is a sales dashboard like this. So you can see around the world where I'm selling. That's the best thing that you can do. Just go online and just type marketing dashboard and you'll find lots of examples on this.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, so I think that's all for today. We'll resume the session tomorrow. We'll continue with the same file for about maybe 1 hour. And in the last hour, I'll do a different topic with you, where I'll also tell you how to work with a data model. Let me just show you what that is. I'll tell you that if you have multiple files in a folder like this, how do you combine all these files together to make a single dashboard? Right? This is a separate topic, something we haven't done up till now. But first we'll complete the dashboard, then we will come to that topic. Right? And how to publish online, that we'll be covering on the final day, in the final session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Excellent. Thank you for joining me. That's all from my side for today. I'll upload the file as well.
Thank
right?
you, sir.
And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
sir.
Thanks, everyone.
So can we have a talk for like 5 minutes? Like,
I have a 11:15 call. Tell me.
okay. No, sir, let everyone leave because I have to discuss something. I have to
Oh,
discuss
sure,
something.
sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, everyone can please leave.